All right, hey everybody, it's Grim Green from grimgreen.com. I did finally shave off my my creepy neck beard. My eczema's clearing up just a little bit thanks to my dermatologist. I'm actually in a pretty good mood tonight. We got some very cool stuff to talk about. First up on the, I don't know why I say this now. What's a chopping block? And why is this first on the chopping block? I don't even own a chopping block. First up for the Sunday double feature from Inokin comes the iTASTE VTR. So what is the Inokin iTASTE VTR? Kind of looks like the iTASTE MVP a little bit in that it's kind of square shaped with a button on the side, and it's different in that the tank or whatever topper or omizer you're using is kind of in this weird like sidecar chamber right here. I guess before we get too far into it, might be good to show you a little bit of the ins and outs, do a little bit of quick uppy closey time. I can see myself inside of it. Alright, well there's not a whole heck of a lot to see here, except you can see my reflection, you can see my mouth, you can see me talking, and you'll be able to see my camera. That is ridiculous. So I did my best to polish up the iTASTE VTR. Like I said, there's not a whole heck of a lot to see uppy closey, but it is kind of neat and interesting to look at, and I did my best to polish it up, but as you can see, as soon as I touch it, oh, you see that big greasy print right there? Forget about if you're actually using it. Like, if the more that I handle it, just in that small little, 8 seconds. Let me see if I can get oh, hi, what's up, Fingerprint Nation? Even on the screen. Fingerprints everywhere. So when I first saw the VTR, I saw this button right here, and I thought, oh, maybe I finally got my detonator style button, like I could just push it like this. But no, that shows you the amps and voltage wattage settings. So you push it to check the ohms. That's the ohms, and as soon as you start fiddling it, that's the watts right there. P stands for watts, and so where did I have this? At about 9.5, and if you press it again, it's going to switch it over to volts. So now you can adjust the volts all the way up to 6 volts, all the way back down to, what is this? 3 volts. Click it again, you're back to the wattage, and leave it at 9.5, just like that. So that's what this top little assembly does. Checks, switches, adjusts, just like that. If you happen to twist it while nothing's happening, then nothing's going to happen. Here's your fire button right here, and it has that patented Inokin green glow. And it 3 times is off, flash at you, it'll say off. 3 more times is on, 1, 2, 3, boop, 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 and now, boom, look, it's on. And that's your fire button, right there. These holes, I don't know, maybe they're vent holes. I don't know what they do. They don't seem to serve any purpose. Kind of looks like a speaker could be there. On this side, this is where your tank is going to fit. And the size restrictions for this tank are, well, they're very limiting. So you have this ring right here that the tank has to fit down inside of. This actually adjusts, spins, so that you could hold this and then screw it in this way, which seems weird. I don't know why they did that, because when you're screwing it in, this is an Aspire tank. When you're screwing it in, you end up having to hold this right here to get your tank snug on there before it will fire, and then you kind of have to grip this again to get your tank out. So what does fit in here? Well, this Aspire tank happens to fit in here. This iClear 30S, which what it was basically designed for, yep, sure enough, that fits in there just well. It was basically designed to be used with this particular clearomizer. But if we take that out, I know the Kangaroo Pro Tank 2 fit in there as well. I don't have one on hand. Their new iClear 30B tank, not even close. Which is weird that they would make a tank, because how rockin' would that look in there? But no, it does not fit Also, I would love to use my amp tank in this. Not even close. I mean, that's not even close. I would also love to use my K-Fun in this. Nope, not even close. If you want to use something that I don't like looking at myself, if you want to use something that doesn't fit in here, you have to use this crazy looking adapter, okay? This is the adapter for everything else that doesn't fit inside, okay? And it has that Innokin, top cap with the vent holes on it. So basically you screw this 510 connection in here, and that raises your 510 connection to the top of the mod. So now I can plug my amp tank on here just like that, and it looks ridiculous. You can check the ohms. It's 2 ohms. Does it vape? Success. So if you want to use anything else on there besides something small like the Aspire tank, something small like the iClear 30 tank, something small like the Kangar Pro tank, then you're going to have to use this this very wonky adapter. Yeah, that's just a quick run through of what the iTASTE VTR looks like up close. Fingerprint magnet that it is. Just want to point out 2 things. This, to me, the styling of this with the divots and the rivets and the button and the light. Anyone remember that movie Flight of the Navigator? Okay, this kind of looks like the inside of the ship of Flight of the Navigator to me for some reason. And the front has stripes, and the back says "Taste it, love it." And to me, those stripy swooshies right there, that really reminds me of Eddie Van Halen's guitar. It just does. Doesn't it look like Eddie Van Halen? I don't know. That's just, I know they make it without the stripies and without the swooshies, and that might be cool, but it is obviously very reflective. It's obviously very heavy, and yeah, it's also very limiting as to what you can use on it, unless you want to use a Gigantor adapter thing. That's what I'm calling it, the Gigantor adapter. So yeah, just a little quick uppy closey time. iTASTE VTR. Now back to normal view. So yeah, that's just a quick little uppy closey time with the iTASTE VTR. I really do not like using the giant monster adapter and then having your tank or your really having it float above, way, not even it's not even flush, it's way up here when you're using that adapter, and it's ridiculous. The whole appeal to me of the VTR, oh, there's juice in there, is to have it kind of be an all enclosed unit, like have it be its own thing, have the tanks fit in here. I realize they can't make this to accommodate every single tank. Right now, right there, that's the Kangar Pro tank, or Kangar Pro tank, Kangar Unitank in there, and it fits and works well, and there's actually a little bit of a gap around the collar where this can kind of move around a little bit, but for the most part, I mean, that works and fits in there. Check the ohms, this is 2.9, so really, it's 2.9 ohms. This should be at like 6 volts, but it's not. I get really good performance from this, and I get really good airflow from this. I don't like the adapter, and I don't like that it's a fingerprint magnet, and I don't like this spinning thing here. There's been plenty of times where I have maybe screwed down my tank too far, or screwed down that adapter too far, and it kind of becomes a pain to unscrew this. Like, you have to grip the tank just by your fingertips and then unscrew it and give it the whole roll it thing, you know what I mean? And you can't unscrew it this way because that's just your drip tip that comes off. So it's a little bit wonky, but the performance is really nice. One thing I didn't show you in the uppy closey segment was this. The battery compartment is right there. Hey! That's where your battery is. Your battery goes in the chamber. It can use flat tops or button tops. There's some batteries, like There's a couple eFest batteries I have that are just far too big. They don't fit in. The tolerances aren't huge, okay? You can see that it's snug in there. Just snap it shut and you'll have to turn it back on again. Luckily it remembers your voltage and wattage. It says on, and you can, one more time, let's check the watts and check the volts. Overall, I've really liked using the VTR. I would like to see this in a different finish, or even maybe like an anodized, so it was less of a fingerprint magnet. One thing about the VTR, even without the battery, is it's heavy. It's not unreasonably heavy. It's not going to weigh you down. You're not going to sink to the bottom of the ocean with this in your pocket. In fact, Amber's been using this a lot, and when I first showed it to her and I first said, "Hey Jam, check this out," that's the very first thing she commented on, was how heavy it was.
That thing should have been called the free weight. It's heavy as hell.
And I'm certainly not saying that I'm some big strong guy and I can lift this and she's just a little weak girl and she can't lift it. I'm just saying it's substantially beefy. It's substantially heavy. I like the weight of it. I like the feel of it. It kind of feels, and this is dumb, it kind of feels like a tape measure. Like, you know when you get a brand new tape measure and you feel that weight and you're like, let's measure things. It kind of feels like that. It kind of feels heavy and weighty. My ring obviously is always knocking into it because of the way that you hold it. With some tube mods and this, that, and the other, you don't, it doesn't come that close, but for some reason, just the way that you have to hold the VTR like this with the tank against yourself and fire button right there, I feel like my ring is always hitting that. You can Google around on the internet. This one actually came from Inokin, but if you Google iTASTE VTR, I forgot to turn down the brightness. Oh, no. Why does it always do that? Man, that annoys me. If you Google iTASTE VTR, the very first link, at least for me, is my Vapor Store. It's $108 for the kit. Does not come with batteries. So if you want to get some good quality batteries, you're going to be adding on maybe another $25, maybe another $30 if you want to get two solid batteries to use in this. It uses 18650s. I've been using these, the Panasonic gray ones. These have the high amp limit, and I've been using them in mechs, but it also happens to fit really well. There's nothing wrong with using a high amp, high drain limit in the VTR. It's going to give you the performance you need. Other than the fingerprint magnet, and other than the fact that to use a lot of tanks, you need to use that big, wonky, stupid adapter, the Inokin iTASTE VTR is a highly decent, very solid, good performer. It checks your ohms, it's variable voltage, it's variable wattage, it runs on 18650s. It can basically do most anything you want it to do. You're not going to be able to go sub-ohm on this, but for the majority of resistances of tanks and atomizers, it'll work, and it'll work great. I've enjoyed using it. It's actually the size of it, and this is the reason why I like the MVP as well, is you just put it in your pocket. You just slide it in your back pocket, and there's no danger of, I'm sitting on it right now, sitting on the VTR. There's no danger of it bending or breaking. You could even take your drip tip off and just make it a thing. Like, you could stand on this, and it would be completely fine. But that's what I got for today. iTASTE VTR. Shop around. You could probably find it for about $100. Maybe wait, I don't know. It's probably going to go down in price when the next best thing comes out of China. But for right now, that's what I got. That's the iTASTE VTR. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Let's keep on vaping.